With schools reopening today, Minister of Education the Honourable PRIYA MANICKCHAND paid a visit to several schools to ensure the COVID-19 measures are being followed. She used the opportunity to remind both students and teachers about the importance of staying safe while at school.
As you can see across the country, children are turning out. This is it's not a photo op, this is a serious exercise for us. You know, we gave parents a choice. We said you can keep your children at home if they're engaged. You can bring them out if you wish to. You can get transfers if they live far away, if they're attending a school that's far away from home. And so these are all options parents had. It's not a you must do as we speak. We're not in normal time. So for this time, we're going to flex with many of the rules. The only thing we want to make sure happens here is that these children are prepared for their 2021 exams.
The Education Minister committed to spare no effort to ensure that each child is afforded the opportunity to complete their secondary education.
We have to make sure we capture every single child. What we will be doing vigorously is trying to determine those who did not come, was that by choice because of COVID, or have they already been lost to the system, in which case we have to do all we can in terms of support to get these kids back in to finish their high school. We don't want dropouts from this period.
Assessments are currently ongoing in each administrative region. The minister's visit is part of a wider ministerial outreach to several secondary schools across Guyana to ensure the COVID-19 protocols are being observed. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs the Honourable ANIL NANDLALL visited 5 schools on the east coast of Demerara, where he interacted with students and teachers on their first day back after 8 months away from the classroom due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In his interactions with the students, the Attorney General said a number of factors were taken into consideration before the decision was made to reopen schools for selected grades.
Hopefully, the rules that the ministry has put in place will be observed by the students, and hopefully they carry that responsibility to their homes. And they continue to wear masks, they continue to maintain social distances, they continue to use hand sanitizers at regular intervals, and they continue to obey all the rules and regulations which we have put in place. Because it makes no sense that they do that at the school, but at home they are exposed.
Some students also shared their views on returning to school.
Coming back to school is a risk. I'm scared, everyone is scared, but we all have to accomplish what we left off. And that is from March, where we didn't do quite much still, but we still come back and to finish off, just to finish off and get it over with.
It was okay, he explained a lot, it was nice seeing him. It's nice that they actually helped us with these packages also. It's a very good help. It's great actually. It's really great because sometimes even using the Zoom class, face-to-face conversation is actually more. It means a lot more. More understanding if you don't understand. Even though in the Zoom class they might explain something more to you, I'd still rather the face-to-face.
Other schools visited were Lebon Intention Secondary, Bladen Hall Multilateral, Golden Grove Secondary, and Hope Secondary. Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, the Honourable Susan Rodrigues, during her visit to St. Winifred's and New Campbellville Secondary Schools, also urged students to continue observing the COVID-19 protocols to protect themselves and their families.
So we don't want you to get left behind, because when COVID is finished, you still have to go on and live your life. And so you need to keep learning. You need to keep interacting with each other. Wash our hands, sanitize as often as possible, wear your mask, ensure that you physically distance from each other. And I believe that once we continue to do that, we will continue to be safe. So I urge you to please follow the guidelines, and I urge you to please cooperate with your teachers as much as possible, and to use this opportunity to grasp as much as you can.
She also distributed care packages to students on behalf of the Ministry of Education. The packages included masks, face shields, immunity-boosting tonics, and sanitizers. Meanwhile, during his visit to the St. George's High School and St. John's College, Minister of Public Affairs within the Office of the Prime Minister, the Honourable KWAME MCCOY, assured students and staff that their health and safety remain priorities of the government.
When we look at all that is taking place with our students and our children, there is a huge learning regression. And you know, the loss of learning can really have a disadvantageous impact on you, the children. So it was really important for us to make sure that we find ways in the Ministry of Education, and the President, Dr. Irfan Ali in particular, from day one was so concerned about our children and what impact having them out of school was creating.
Senior Education Officer Ms. Fazia Bashk, who accompanied the minister to the schools, said while there were some hiccups identified, she is pleased with the first day's operations. Over in the Essequibo Islands West Demerara region, secondary schools have already fallen in line with the new normal. Minister within the Ministry of Public Works, the Honourable DEODAT INDAR, paid a visit to the Parika Salem, Zeeburg, Iflat and Lenora secondary schools to assess students and teachers' adjustment to the COVID-19 situation.
Everywhere we went, generally, all of the protocols that was established to open schools were in place. There was a washing station, there were sanitizers. I think all of the children got their care packages. Everybody had masks on. All of the faculty was, everybody were out. And from HM, everybody were out. When we inspected the classrooms, we spoke to some of the children, and most of them said they were not. They don't feel they're in any environment that is not conducive for them.
Minister of Home Affairs, the Honourable Robeson Ben, visited the East Rumveldt and Cummins Lodge secondary schools.
Well, I'm fairly satisfied that they have the basic features in place: the wash stations, the soap, the chemicals for sanitization, and also the temperature testing kit.
Also, Minister within the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development, the Honourable ANAND PERSAUD, visited a few schools along the east bank of Demerara. While there, the Minister re-emphasized the need for both the students and teachers to stringently follow the safety protocols.
What you do here, translate it into your communities and your homes. We from a government level, from a ministerial level, and other agencies have worked hard over the couple of months to ensure that we provide a safe school for our students. It is wear a mask, sanitize, and social distancing. I know from time to time, the headmaster, your teachers will give you short talks reminding you that COVID kills.
Minister MANICKCHAND later today during a virtual media conference provided a recap of the day's activities and the plans going forward. She was accompanied by Chief Education Officer Dr. MARCEL HUTSON.
So this morning we opened school. We announced it a week ago. Schools were reopened this morning, and we visited across the country senior officers, ministers of the cabinet, other officials, went to schools to see how that opening had gone. We have begun to collect data about the numbers of students that have come back out and numbers of teachers that have come back out. I'm very pleased to say we see an almost 100% attendance by teachers.
As we go forward, we watch and we learn. A journey into 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And so today we've taken that step. And so our intention is to keep our eyes on what is happening. And so as we go forward, we'll continue to learn and we'll continue to implement.